with Scott Adams as we get ready for our next event. As Edwin has said, two different classes, 944 Spec and Spec E46. Got 16 cars in 944 Spec and another 14 in Spec E46, and they're going out under pace lap. So let's start running them down. Marcedo Vine leads 944 Spec. He's starting first in car number 9 alongside John Pentelet Molnar in car 84, then 81 and Callum Fletcher, and 58 Charles Sharp alongside. Kevin Fry's next in car 42, alongside him Gian Bowles. And then in the next row, car number 53, Bryce Alexander and Jeff Heitz in car 19.
Let's go down to 9th and 10th place. Ty G is in the 79 car. Jim Richmond next to Ty in the 35. And then the next row, Jordan Sedaris in the 44. Owen Burns set to roll from 12th spot in car number 60.
In the 7th row, Philip Asteen in car 25, Carl Atwood alongside in car 7, Wayne Alexander in 76, and Mark Weiler in car 96. That's the last of the 944 Spec entries.
So let's go to the front row of Spec E46. Jason Fraser will start in the 31 car, and the Team JDZ will be next to him in the 16. Second row for Spec E46, Luke Weisenberg in the 46 and Jonathan Parachon in the 90.
Next up, car 615, Casey Mashore alongside Team JDZ Motorsports in car 15. And following them is car 426, Team Valkyrie Autosport Spec E, and Team Abusive Power in car 98 completes the row.
Love the team names. Team Legacy Motorworks is in car number 47, and Stephen Ferraro, the 93 car next to them. The 28X, that's Daniel Yanis in 28X, and then the 64 Team Micro PDM.
Talk about the 17th row, car 45, Peter Onepo. Zach George completes that row in car 132. Next row, 321, Steve Mashore, Larry Noble alongside in car 28.
Adam Olajazinak in the 87 car. Erica Holm will go in the Eric Holm in the 920. And then it's the X29, the Team's Kids College Fun Motorsports, Team Esprit Cosmetics in car number 7, and Errol Venkatesh in the 13 car. And this one, just two classes.
Yeah, but they're two competitive classes. You got another spec class, and like the Miatas, all the spec classes produce excellent racing. Pace car leading the field down into turn 10, going to take that exit, driver's left, and then that field being led by Marcelo Vine and John Pentelai Molnar are going to bring the field up to the green flag. They're coming down out of 10. There goes the pace car diving off, driver's left into the pits. Front row leading the field into turn 11. They make that final left-hander here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and get onto the front straightaway. The car's starting to bunch up now as they come up. Edwin, bring them to a green flag and start this one off.
Here we go. Group D, 944 Spec, 2x2. Qualifying race to set the field for tomorrow's championship. Green flag is in the air, and like a pace lap, they're still side by side. Vine in the 9 car to the inside. But I'll tell you what, Molnar in the 84 with a good run on the outside. They'll stay 2x2 into turn number 2. The preferred line has Vine to the inside. If Vine can clear, important to do that before they get to turn number 3, because what's the outside becomes the inside. Once they're to turn number 3, the field pretty much single file now. Here they are off that turn number 3, and all of the 944 car single file back to about 14th place. Here is Vine now leading the way as our second wave now goes green with our Spec E46. Let's stay, though, with those 944 cars, because here they are, turn number 5. And, Dick, they're coming to you up the hill. That's a beautiful field of 944s.
It is a beautiful field, and as you said, going into turn 1, 2x2, same way they did into the arc. But this is not an arc. This is a qualifying race. And, boy, are they flying up the hill as they head toward the corkscrew. We'll keep our eye on them and see if Marcello Vine can lead this field as they come back around into our view.
Spec E46 field, you see them there. making that turn into turn number 4. They were single file up front. Couple cars still jockeying for position there. So those are the Spec E46. Here's the left-hander at turn at number 4. It's that 31 car that's going to lead the way as they make the climb for the first time. The 31 car leads.
And they're on their way up the Ray Hall Straight. In the meantime, that lead pack is coming back around across start finish. Here they come. 4 cars in a group leading this one. They are well bunched together. Then it's a gap back to 5th and 6th place. We're side by side as they come out of turn 11. It is still Marcello Vine leading in the number 9 car, followed by John Molnar. Then it's Kevin Fry in car 42, Caleb Fletcher in car number 81, and Charles Sharp, 58, completes the top 5.
Boy, across the line, Vine had opened it up to about a second, but that 84 car not going to let him get away in turn 3. Now they've got it back down maybe to 5 car lengths. There they come at you at 3 under the bridge. Use all of the racetrack given to them, and they're now in second spot. Still the 84 car. And then Kevin Fry, Fletcher, and Sharp, as you mentioned, the top 5. There's the top 4. They've kind of gotten away a little bit as they get back to turn number 5. Your top 4 cars, nice run by Marcello Vine as they head up the hill.
Top 4 cars still running pretty close together as they had since the start. But as you mentioned, there's a breakaway of that top 4 over the rest of the field as they go out of our sight up the hill into the Ray Hall Straight. Looking at the rest of the field coming through the infield, no, that's the second group coming down the hill.
Spec E46 cars now. They're going through the infield section, and they'll head for turn number 5. It is a Fraser, I believe, still out front in the 31 car. There's the 90 machine. That's Jonathan Parashon, and there's Fraser up the hill. He leads the Spec E46 field onto the Ray Hall Straight.
Watching for them as they come down through the corkscrew. Actually going up the hill of the Ray Hall Straight. It really looks like a traffic jam up there. They're 2 and 3 abreast going up into turn 6. Here comes that lead group out of the corkscrew now down the hill. This is Spec E46.
Yeah, Fraser with a good run there. Maybe, 4 car lengths?
Easily. As they come down through that complex out of turn 9 and 10, they go from one side of the track to the other. It looks like a multicolored snake working its way down the hill.
It's beautiful, beautiful to watch. Let's stay with this orange 31 car for a little bit because that's a really good race as they come by to put another lap on the field. The gap is 0.7 of a second, and you've got some battles mixed in all through there. There's that's about 3rd and 4th not overall, but in class. That's Jonathan Parashon in the 90 car. That's the battle for 3rd. He's feeling some pressure from the 615. That's Casey Mashore, and now your leader getting some pressure as we go on board now in the Spec E46 race, and that is a battle for 5th and 6th spot. You can see the leader up ahead there, the 31 car. There's a pass for position as you ride along in turn at number 4. And now they'll make the left at turn number 5. You are behind the wheel in a Spec E46 car. Can't get a better seat in the house than that.
No, you can't. This is what it's going to look like as you go up that hill. Make that long, long climb to the top of WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, to the corkscrew up into turn 7, where you make that left-hander, a blind corner as you come on down and make that 10-story descent down to turn 9. You just can't imagine how steep that corner is. Here comes the field down through there now. Boy, they are still tightly bunched together. 3rd, 4th, 5th, all glued together, almost bumper to bumper as they come down through the corkscrew.
Now, something interesting is going to happen here, and 1 car off I saw up at the corkscrew, single car incident there. Should continue, but what's going to happen in a little bit, the 944 Spec cars are running in the mid 140s, 146, 147. The Spec E46 are running 141. You're going to have the Spec E46 catch those cars, and now you're going to mix both classes up. That's going to get real dicey here in just a little bit.
In the meantime, in the 944 class, Molnar is still leading in car number 84. He's being pursued by Kevin Fry in car 42. Molnar's got about a 3-second lead. Then it's Caleb Fletcher in car number 81 running in the 4th spot. He's only 0.2 of a second behind Fry. Then Brian Bowles in, no, it's Gian Bowles, I'm sorry, in car 85, running in the 5th spot.
Getting really interesting now. The Spec E46 leaders, you see there. Look at this jumbled up group. Now, as you've got Spec E46 cars mixed in with the 944 cars, this is where you got to catch that traffic at the right time, because if you get gapped by one of the leaders, it could take you several laps to make it back up. A couple cars touched there going up the hill. That was going by, that might have been Vine's number 9 car touched by one of the Spec E46s.
Going up into turn 6. Yeah, that's a real battle. A lot of traffic out there, and they come out of 5, and they were 2 abreast, sometimes 3 abreast, and that's when those cars touch. There's just not enough room for that. And a lot of times the driver won't expect a car on his left if he's in the middle of the track coming there. All of a sudden it's, where'd you come from?
Boy, it's a traffic jam at the top of the hill there. They get it sorted out, but man, that is just, of all the places to try to catch traffic and tiptoe through, that is a difficult one. But you see, the 2 classes now mixed in together. Let me go through for you. Marcelo Vine. And now I've got a double yellow on track. So everybody slowing down here. But you see it at start and finish. So double yellow around
Let's see if we
the track.
can pick up where the incident is.
So we'll see again. Now that may bring us to pace car bunch everybody up, and when they bunch them all up, you're going to have everybody mixed in together. So, because you've got Spec E46 now is up to running 8th overall, and they've gotten by a couple of the 944 spec cars. So you're going to have a real mix here when they come back to get the green flag. Pace car is picking up the field. They're going to have to sort out exactly which car that pace car is going to pick up, because right now...
Should pick up Molnar.
Or Vine. Will it be Vine he's picking up?
Well, Weisenberg is leading the Spec E46 class in the 46 car, and he's running 8th overall the last time they crossed the start-finish line. And timing and scoring shows Molnar as your overall leader and leader in 944 Spec.
So you see the pace car there letting some cars by. Those are cars that are kind of at the tail end of the lead lap. So the pace car will kind of cruise around until he can pick up the actual leader. So you'll see, you're like, oh, you can't pass the pace car. They will wave you
They'll wave you by, yeah.
Yep. So that you can then...
so you won't go a lap down.
Exactly. And, boy, you've seen that, at every level of motorsports. You've always seen some of those controversies of, oh, the pace car picked up the wrong car, picked up the a lap car and all that stuff. And it really is it's a tough situation to try to figure out which car to pick up sometimes when you've got the 2 groups mixed in together. So they're going to let everybody circulate around. We're going to let them reset the field, and then we'll go from there. And I'm not exactly sure where that incident was. I saw some safety vehicles head out, but this will make a whale of a restart in a little bit. So.
Yeah, you talk about the pace car is going to bunch up the field. The field was pretty well bunched up before the incident came out, but this is going to make it even tighter. And again, as we mentioned earlier with the pace car situation, it adds a lot of drama, and it's almost like having a second race within a race.
Yeah, now it is it'll be a rolling start, but with both waves mixed in together. Yeah. So, yeah, the pace car is still trying to wait for the leader to catch back up. And, of course, 2.238, a lot of racetrack for them to kind of find out and get everybody in the right position. You know what we've not seen much yet today is the shot from our drone camera. Yes, all the stops pulled out this weekend, and look at that shot overhead this iconic raceway. There is turn number 3. What a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it really is. They make that right-hander going to the tire bridge along straightaway, heading to another 90-degree right-hander, 2 90-degree right-handers in a row, and then that bank turn 5 to the left that sends them up the hill on their climb to the corkscrew.
And what an important, you talk about the banking in 5. It's so important because it does let you retain speed for that long.
It's almost like a launch pad.
Yes. And if you get it, if you, like we said it before, if you get it right, it's going to pay dividends all the way to the corkscrew.
All the way to the top of the hill. Yeah, my apologies on that misinformation. Vine is the race leader in the number 9 car over Molnar. And that's the car that the pace car will be picking up. Looks like the incident is at the top of the hill. That's where we've got emergency vehicles parked. That's on the outside of turn 7. So it looks like someone went straight off instead of making a turn down the hill. And now as the camera widens out, we see a black car in the picture straight up. Looks like they came up the Ray Hall straight, and instead of turning left, went straight ahead. A lot of gravel, a lot of runoff area there. Good place to, if you're going to leave the track, to leave it.
And there they are. They're going to winch him off just like you had told us about. Remind me, this has been probably 15, 20 years ago. The Indy car that missed the corner there and ended up going over the wall into the trees there. I cannot remember.
It was a fatality.
Yes, I cannot remember that. And that's been at least, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it has been.
It's... And they've reconfigured that, not the corner, but they've reconfigured the runoff since then.
They reconfigured the runoff area since then, yeah. Actually, it wasn't up there at the absolute top. It was just a little bit below. He'd partially started down the corkscrew and run off the outside driver's right and into and over the tire wall.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more runoff there driver's right than what they had in the past. And I believe Pace Car now has picked up the leader. That took a little bit, but that's okay because it took them a while to get that car winched out of its spot there. So no harm, no foul.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, that gravel is so deep, if the tow truck went out there into it, it too would get stuck. So they stay on the pavement, got a long cable and winch on that front bumper. Pull a car, was it a 77 car or 72 car? It was the car that went off up there.
13X was it.
13X, okay.
Yep, so that's Daniel Yanis in the 13X, and there's the car back on it. Not any damage to the car. He didn't get into anything. He just, like you mentioned, got into the gravel and needed some help getting winched back out.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to drive out of that. Actually, they laid all that gravel out initially for the motorcycles when they were running MotoGP here years ago because they needed that to stop the bikes. But that gravel had not been there before. It was just straight sand, and boy, you get into that and you skate across it. There's no slowing down. There's no friction between you and the car, but the gravel does a magnificent job of bringing you to a safe stop before you can impact something.
So the leaders and the pace car just went past us here at start-finish. They've got everybody gathered in where they're supposed to be. Your first 7 cars are all 944 specs, and then the spec E46. You mentioned before the 46 of Lucas Weissenberg. He leads in spec E46. So at the top of the hill, I don't think they've got. It looks like all the safety vehicles are done there at the top of the corkscrew. So we should be able to get back green here. We're about halfway through this one right now.
Yeah, 7 laps are complete, as shown on timing and scoring. Pace car continues to lead Marcello Vine around the track, going through turn 3 right now. My guess is that they will go green. We'll have to keep our eye on the pace car and watch the flashing lights. When they go out, that's going to tell you that we're going to go green. Sometimes you'll see the cars behind the pace car start to scrub their tires, trying to get some heat back into them so that they will stick when they get down into turn 1 after they take the green flag.
Well, and Jeremy Corsett said that when they had that little break in the last one, he lost some tire temperature, and that made his second half of the race a lot more challenging. Just in that brief yellow flag they had, lost some tire temperature. And he was talking about, that particular tire works great, when they're up to temperature, but when you don't have tire temperature, he said it's a handful.
Well, single file continuing behind the pace car on their way up the hill. We'll keep our eye on the pace car. It should come back into view at the corkscrew momentarily to start the descent down into Wayne Rainey Curve. And watch for those lights on that pace car. When they go out, it means it's time to go back to racing.
Well, there's still a lot to be decided in this one because as competitive, and look at that's a big spec E46 field. Again, trying to get in front of a couple of those guys to improve your starting position tomorrow will be huge. And the camera shots are great, but when you can get up in that drone picture, it does help show you the flow of this racetrack.
Yeah, it really does, and it's just a beautiful shot. They're going through turn 10 now, heading into the final corner. Pace car comes off. We're going to go green, Edwin. Bring him up to the green flag, and let's restart this one.
Like we just got started. Here we go. Single file, rolling start. Vine will lead them. As we said, the first 7 cars are all 944 spec. There's a green flag. We're green flag racing once again. And again, you try to hug that inside line as Vine tries to hold off Molnar. Molnar will look to the outside into turn number 2. Can't quite get it done there. Vine puts the tires right on the line to try to hold him off. If he can get off turn number 3 single file, he'll be where he wants to be. But I'm telling you what, that second place 84 car not giving him any break. Here they are through turn number 3. They're all single file back until the 4th spot. And that's one of the spec E46. That's your spec E46 leader who's now going to move to 3rd overall as the leaders battle again. Molnar trying to get past Vine as they head for turn number 5. The left-hander there, that spec E46 car is on a roll, and they head up the hill. We got a good race here.
Yeah, that spec E46 car is trying to move up into 2nd spot while there's a tremendous battle between Vine and Molnar in 9 and 84 at the head of the field. There are 2 944 spec cars, but they're about to be eaten up by a spec E46 car. We'll watch them as they head up to the top of the hill and the corkscrew. Still running in the same order, 1, 2, 3, Marcello Vine and Molnar and the spec E46 car as they come down the hill. A 3-car train. Looks like you may have a new leader. I believe that Molnar got by.
Actually, let me check. That might be one of the...
Could be one of the spec E46 cars?
It might be. Let's see. Yes, it is. It's
more than one.
E46. Yeah, two
of them have gotten by.
Well, this will be good. This is a good time for them to come by, start, finish. So let's reset. In fact, your top 3 now look like they'll be spec E46 as we go by. And Lucas Weisenberg in the 46, Jason Fraser in the 31 car. They now are 1 and 2. Vine has dropped back to 4th overall, but important to Vine, Vine still hangs on to that top spot in the spec 944. So, but we need to look at timing and scoring because that lead car, let me get a number on that car. I'm going to try to see as he goes by. I couldn't catch it there. But Weissenberg, it looks like he runs 2nd on the screen, so we'll check timing and scoring in a moment as they come down that short chute into turn number 5. And that's the 615 car. So they're showing the 615 car out in front, but timing and scoring is not. So we'll give them a lap to reset. And sometimes if they miss a lap or something, it may, but then, well, let's give timing and scoring a chance to reset, and we'll go from there. One thing I think of is that 615 car, was it a lapped car that was kind of caught in the middle? We'll see. But he's running away from the rest of them. That's Weisenberg, the white car going down the hill. The 615 car on timing and scoring is Casey Mashore. So let's see what timing does when they come by. And this will happen a lot of times after a full course yellow.
So it looks like a BMW class and a Porsche class when you break it down between the 944 spec and the spec E46 cars.
I want to see if that 615. Yeah, see, they're showing the 615 car has only completed a handful of laps. So I wonder if that's a transponder issue or if he indeed, the timing and scoring showing him 2 laps down, but sometimes that can be a transponder issue. Meanwhile, there's good racing right there in front of us. That's the run down into turn number 2. A couple of the 944 cars there in a nice battle, including the 81 machine. 1, 2, 3 cars there battling for position.
So Spec 46, E46 cars have the top 5 positions, according to our scoring monitor. Casey Mashore in 615. That answered that question.
There we go. Time and scoring updated.
It caught up. Lucas Weisenberger running second in 46, followed by Jason Fraser in 31. Then Jonathan Parashon in car number 90. And the IDZ Motorsports entry number 16 completes the top 5. Now a 944 spec leader is Marcello Vine. He is 6th overall in the number 9 car.
Well, they don't have a whole lot of time to do anything because I do see the starter holding the white flag. So let's see. We've got a car that is stopped at the top of the corkscrew. So we'll check on that in a little bit. But, yeah, the starter holding that flag in his hand. And we'll see. There it is. White flag for the leader. Casey Mayshore goes by and has one more lap to go, and Vine still leading in Spec 944. Vine doesn't really care about the overall as long as he's still got the top spot in his class.
Yeah. A lot of dust down in turn 11.
That was a pretty long double yellow. By the time they got cleaned up and then got the pace car caught up and everything, and guys get a little antsy here in the last thing. They go, I've only got a lap or two left to do something. Let me get on it.
Well, the other thing that happens once a car gets way off into the gravel like that one did up at the top of the hill and they winch him out, when he does come back down the hill, all the gravel and rocks that were in the undercarriage of that car get liberally sprinkled on the course as he comes downhill. So everybody that comes up behind him gets to go through that, and in some cases do a little skating in the process.
Yeah, because your maximum adhesion right there as you turn in, and just the slightest little change can make a huge, huge difference here. Looking back in the field of the Spec E46 class. Meanwhile, we'll look for Casey Mayshore coming off of the final corner.
Must be getting close. The starter's got the checkered flag in hand.
So Mayshore going to try to hold on here off turn number 10. Mayshore is now off turn number 11 and will head for the checkered flag. Here is your leader down the front straightaway. And battle on for second spot. There's Mayshore by. Here's the battle for second. And it'll go to Weissenberg and Frazier third. There's your winner, Casey Mayshore. And let's see if Vine can hang on to that spot. And let's see, Vine indeed.
No,
he won't. Let's see.
Ferrario got around him.
Ferrario got by him. That's a Spec E46. So Marcello Vine will fall to 10th overall, but still will hang down to that top spot in 944. Probably not the race he expected, but he'll take it. That'll still put him in the top spot for tomorrow's race. So Casey Mayshore in the 615 car, Lucas Weissenberg in the 46, and Jason Fraser in the 31. They're your top three in Spec E46. And then in 944, you got Marcello Vine in the number 9 car, Molnar in the 84 car, and Kevin Fry, the 42, your top three. So good race in there, but a long double yellow kind of bunched those fields up and may have cost a couple people an opportunity to improve their position a little bit more. So good racing, though, across the board.
It just gives them a little more of a challenge to deal with tomorrow.
I like it. ST2, ST4, and American Iron Extreme coming up. And I talked to a group of people earlier. We have not seen this car on track since I've been here, but we may have a very interesting car coming up on the American Iron Extreme in a little bit. I'll let you know if they indeed make it out. So cars will head down into the paddock area. We are just ripping through an afternoon of motorsports here for you. And again, this sets everything up for Championship Sunday here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. It's the 2022 NASA Championships. So the cars have gotten down into the paddock area. We're going to let Carla and Will find our top finishers, and in a moment we'll throw it down to those guys. They're doing a great job. I want to thank Carla and Will both. They've got a busy day down there, but we'll catch up with them in just a moment. You see all the cars coming into the paddock area. So Marcelo Vine held on there and was our Spec 944 winner. And I believe we'll see if Carla has caught up with him here in just a moment. All right, guys, so we'll catch up with our top finishers here in just a little bit. We've got a little bit of a break coming as we get ready for our Group E qualifying race, Super Touring 2, Super Touring 4, and American Iron Extreme coming in just a little bit, but we'll take a brief break in just a moment. You are watching the NASA Championships live, the 2022 championship. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back live from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca,